Hey girl, hey.
Hi.
I am so glad we get to link up this evening. I love you. I love your energy. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone out there in, I would say TV land, but we're in podcast land. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes. What's up, everybody? I am Emma J. I am a model, actress, as well as producer. And in terms of producing, that's film as well as events. So I'm kind of, all in the entertainment space. Yes. As well as the HBCU graduate and advocate. Okay. Go to HBCUs, y'all. There we go.
Yes, yes, I love that. And I've always loved your energy. Guys, I just want to first say thank you guys for tuning in to Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. We're going to have a great evening. We're going to get into this good conversation, get some good gems out of Emma J, and all the things that she has going on. So we know your name. We know some of the things that you do. Can you kind of tell us how did you get started in this industry of ours?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So for modeling, I've always been interested in modeling. Always, ever since I was little, I was like, I want to be a model. I did little runway shows for my mom, who was a seamstress when I was a baby. We got pictures. And when I got a little bit older, I was like, America's Next Top Model. Oh my goodness. I watched like every season from like end of season one to like season 10 from when I was in like high school and middle school. So I'm like telling my daddy, like, it came on Wednesdays at like 8 p.m. We had church. I was like, church is over. We gotta get
I
home.
got to
Like,
get
America's
home.
Next Top Model. Like, I gotta go see what's going on. So I was just like always like wanted to do it. Once I got to college in Atlanta, I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU, and there weren't any HBCUs in the North, or like, well, there weren't any in New York, where
Okay.
the fashion capital is. But I was
Right.
like, okay, go to Atlanta and I'll still be in a city as well as still, get the education I want. So I modeled there. I eventually moved out to LA after graduation. Everybody move out to LA, child.
Yes.
Moved out to LA for 3 years. And out there is when I started acting. I was like, I want to be in more commercials. And I noticed it was more actors in commercials versus models. So
Mm,
I got into an acting class and I was like, whoa, I think I like this. I was like, I kind
yeah.
of like this acting thing. So that started my acting career. And then within acting, I noticed, oh, there are so many other people who are on set. We got producers, directors, writers, PAs, transportation, like everybody. So that's I was like, oh, I think I like this producing thing. So
Okay.
kind of got into the aspect of like, okay, I think I want to produce. I produced a documentary. I kind of produced some digital content. So I kind of got into that space. So that's the entertainment space. And then
Okay.
event
Okay.
production has
So
always
is that
been
where you
like,
got introduced
like
to the different hats that you could see the different things that you're able to kind of contribute and add to your portfolio or your resume as an
yes.
artist?
Yeah, I was like, okay, knowing being in LA or living in LA for that period of time, I knew that everybody had a side hustle. Everybody was doing everything. And it kind of let it be okay to say, hey, I write and I act, or I direct and I produce. It wasn't this box that people would put you in of like, you're a director and you can only direct, or you're an actor, you can only act. Like
Right.
being in LA let me knew like, oh, you can actually do multiple things. So I kind of felt okay to be able to branch out to do all those different things.
Right.
Mhm.
And it gives you more confidence and more. Let me ask you this. When you moved to LA, did you feel that it was as demanding as people, say? Because you hear that all the time, like LA is the spot to be, that's the place to be. Do you feel that it was demanding, or did you feel like you were able to get in and get your footing?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it was demanding. It definitely was a little intimidating
Okay.
because it's this big city and it's Hollywood and everybody is there to become a star. You're
Mhm.
not the only one with a dream, and it literally will put you on your back and it'll be like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, girl, sorry. You thought you was about to be popping. It'll hit you well, reality will hit you real quick. That's kind of what I mean when I mean put you on
Right.
your back. It'll like you're not the only one out here with a dream. So what makes you different? What
Okay.
are you going to do in a good way to make sure you stand out? Nothing great. We ain't doing no casting couches or nothing like that.
Right.
But like what you how
Right.
like how
Exactly.
much of a hustle are you gonna put in? Like we ain't doing that now. We don't do that around here.
Well, And were you
No,
able to answer that question? Were you able to see what makes you different from others? Like, if someone were to ask you that today, with the experience and the knowledge that you have, what keeps you or sets you apart from the rest?
I would say my personality, but I did leave LA and I started to work in my hometown, North Carolina.
Okay,
So I realized that I was actually booking more in this market than being in that market.
gotcha.
So I feel like I would definitely want to give LA another chance, but I don't exactly know if I found out what made me different in LA because I really didn't book when I was out there. I had a great opportunity that led me to something else. And that opportunity was just my hustle and determination that got me that opportunity. I ended up modeling overseas, which is huge.
Right.
But so, like, I guess I would say my determination, and my hustle is what made me different. But moving out into maybe a smaller market and having that mindset of, okay, this is what the LA people do. We got to make sure we do that here in North Carolina. That definitely puts me on top of the game of some other people who might just turn in a random, bad self tape. And it's like,
Okay.
nah, we got to make sure we look good. So
Right.
yeah,
All right. Well, you
we
said
got to make sure
two
it's
key
on point.
words there, hustle, determination.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people think that they have the hustle or they think they have determination. But like you said, when you put yourself in certain situations or different scenarios, you really see who has the proof, or you put the proof in the pudding, is what they
yeah,
say. So sometimes it takes, seeing these big opportunities to make you humble yourself in a way and say, hey, let me take it back a bit. Maybe I'm not ready for this right here, but I definitely can handle this and build myself up to that next level, which it sounds like
yeah.
you have, because I mean, you're moving, you're doing a lot of things right now. So I'm very proud of you, just watching you and your journey. I know that you and I connected some years ago at the American Black Film Festival. And I told you then,
Yes,
I was like, oh my God, I just love your energy. I love your spirit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm one of those people, I'm always attracted to energy, and I like the way you carried yourself, and you were very friendly. So, yes, we met at ABFF a while ago, and I just told you how much I really enjoyed you and loved your energy, your spirit, because that's what connects me to people, energy. And you were just always just bubbly, very helpful, very friendly. And it shows in the different things that you do. I just saw you recently, and I was like, I was watching television the other day, and I was like, wait a minute. I saw you in the commercial, the deodorant commercial. Can you tell us
yes.
a little bit about that and how? I mean, because it fits your personality perfect, I think.
Yes, it's like secret deodorant or whichever one, because I know there are different cuts of it. But so that is the secret deodorant commercial. I shot that last year in 2023. Actually shot it in Tennessee, which I was like, oh my gosh, I get to go to Tennessee to like shoot something.
Yeah,
My agency here I'm with the agency here in my home state, North Carolina. So just they got the audition came in. I was in Atlanta at my homegirl house. I was like, hey y'all, I'm about to record because her boyfriend who lived there. So I like shut the door, did the audition. Last year or maybe like the past year and a half, I've kind of had to, when it comes to commercials, really have this mindset of go in, have fun, forget about it. Like I would literally take commercials so seriously because they would ask for the most craziest things and I would be dissecting it. Like a
yeah,
commercial will ask you hop on one foot, turn around, do yoga, but you also need to be jumping up like you at a 17-year-old party or something. And it's like this doesn't make any sense.
that's right.
But yes, and it's like you get these auditions and breakdowns. It's like this what are you asking me for? So this one, it wasn't like that, but I've had to get in my mind, okay, Emma, when you get a commercial audition, have fun with it. Use your comedy skills that are wanting to continue to grow and just have fun. So that's what I did. I did what they asked me to. I did like 3 different takes. We did a callback, did that, sent in the other new tape for the callback, got the email one day and was like, you're booked. I was like,
Yeah, I know, right?
and that is the biggest or the biggest commercial that I have done
Okay.
up until date. So it was my first one. It was SAG. I was like, oh my gosh, you want a SAG project? I was like,
I know that's
so
right.
and I was like, oh my God. And I'm not SAG. I'm now SAG eligible because of that project.
Oh, good, good.
But being non-union and getting that part, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna open up, so many
So
doors.
many
I'm now
doors.
SAG
Yeah.
eligible. I have to become SAG, it's gonna be Gucci. So and just taping it was great. The staff team was great. We did like a few takes of everything, and then it was done. And 6 months later, it's all over the place, and I'm like, oh shoot, my face is
Listen,
everywhere.
so I know you were getting phone calls like crazy, right? As soon as that first person see you, that phone just blow up, blow up, blow up, blow up. How was that?
Yes.
What were the reactions?
So I forgot who texted me, but somebody texted me in January. I need to look back at it. Somebody texted me in January and was like, "Oh my gosh, girl, like you on my YouTube," and I was like, "Girl, what you talk about?" Because we never know. As artists, we never know
Right.
when things are really gonna come out.
Mhm.
So she was like, "Oh my gosh, I see you on my YouTube. Here it is." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm here." So I've gotten more texts than phone calls. One of my homegirls did call me the other day from college. She was like, "Yeah, my gosh, me, girl, what you doing?" I was like, "Oh Lord." So me and her had a good conversation. But it's a lot of texts, a lot of DMs, a lot of screenshots, a lot of like people recording the screen, a lot of people texting me like, "I just screamed and dropped my water because I see you on TV." So it's weird because you don't think as somebody like we're working,
Yeah.
right? So for me, I'm like, I just did a job, but it's just this amazing job and it's on this commercial. I have no clue who's gonna see it. But then when it's to them, it's like, oh my gosh, I know her. So just how we have friends who are on TV, we got friends
Yes.
who are on the TV shows and the sitcoms,
Shows.
and we're like,
Yes.
"Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
there, people are
And
doing
I'm
that to me
recording
now."
them. I'm taking out my camera and
Yes.
recording everything. Yes. So
And
yes.
I'm like, "Oh my god." So I have to remember, like, the same way that I'm excited for my friends and I record them, people are doing the same thing. So I love it. I take it in, and super crazy since we're talking about it. I actually have the
Uh-oh.
ones listening on the podcast, you're not gonna see it. But literally, I wrote this January 2nd, 2023. And one of my goals has booked a national commercial where I net over $10,000 this year.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, when I saw that and looking, although it was 2023, I didn't get the checks till now.
But
When I
still.
saw that, I was like, I booked that commercial last year. And the
Right.
fact that there are residuals coming in, when I add it all up, it's over this number that I wrote down. It's over book a national commercial. And
Right.
I'm just kind of like, I always think of people when they say, oh,
Manifestation. You manifested it. And
you
that's what
know,
it's
and
about.
is. I be like, sometimes I be like, you don't have to write it down. You don't have to do that. And I'm like, well, I did, and it came to
Thank
pass. And I
you.
would say this every day, thinking,
I'm
I'm
very
just
big on
saying,
that as
praise.
well. Yes, I'm one of those people that, and I think I've been like that since I was younger, anyways. But I've always been a note taker or the little sticky
Mm,
pads. I keep sticky pads near me, and I'm always jotting stuff down. Okay, this. So I definitely understand because it's like they say, when you see it, you can achieve it, you can believe it, and that's what
yeah.
happened. And listen, you go. Because there's nothing wrong
It is.
with that. Now we got to write something else down so we can conquer that
I
next,
know.
that next check off. That's all that
I'm
is.
working on that. I'm working on that. Because when I was like, I am in therapy, amen. I gotta go gotta schedule a new session. But
Okay.
I do want to say, just being honest, I feel like I have like problems sometimes setting goals because I
Okay.
just be like, dang, am I gonna achieve it? Or I didn't do the goals that I already said I wrote down 10 years ago. What's going on?
Oh,
So
I
I feel like
gotcha.
I'm
So
trying
you
to
feel
add
like what's
on.
the point of setting new goals or the next goal and this one hasn't been completed?
And it's like, but who knows? Like, them ones probably not gonna come to pass till I'm, 40, 50. Like, them could be some long-term goals that God put on my heart back
Right.
then. Like, I had to think like that. So it's interesting in terms of goal setting for me. I'm working on it
Right.
because it's like, okay, no, it's okay that I can set new goals for myself because I'm a new
Right.
person each and every day. So, girl, help me with that. Help me with that.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I definitely get what you're saying though, because, and I think everybody has their own way of dealing with things that they start or set or want to complete, because we all have these like clocks in our head, no
Yeah.
matter what the accomplishment or task is. But like you said, it may not be on your time. It may not be, hey, when I turn 32 or 34. It might be when you're 60. You don't know, but it's still on your heart and in your mind for a reason. So you're writing it
Yeah.
down for a reason. It's gonna come to pass, but you just have to allow other options in your life. Like anything, you have to maneuver. Just like you said about putting on the different hats and learning different things in order to incorporate into your career path. It's the same with goals, being able to maneuver and shift so that you can get to all of them, because I love that. I love to be able to check off, look, check off the list. I'm serious. I'm a checker. But yeah, sometimes
Funny.
it happens in different areas or different stages of our lives. But I'm so proud of you. Like you said, like your friends are proud of you, and it's good to be able to see it, especially like you were saying before. It is a lot of time I turn on the TV and I'm like, oh, I was in class with this person, or oh, this is a friend of mine or an associate of mine, or it might be a friend of a friend, and it's just like, listen, it just makes me happier because it makes me feel like I'm just that much closer now. Do you ever feel that
Are.
way? Or how do you
Yes.
feel?
I feel the exact same way. When I saw some of my classmates on TV or in their own, like it might have been something that went straight to Amazon Prime or something that went straight to a streaming network, I would be like, I was like, that's my friend. I was like, I could really call her right now. Like, and she'll pick up the phone. So I'm like, if my friend is on TV and she just won, I'm like, I won too. And I'm like, but if I'm in her circle, I'm like, that means I'm up next. I'm
Right.
like, bro, I am up next. Like, that is my thought process. I've seen so many people and I'm just like, yo, that means I'm up next. And to see me kind of, I am up next. Like I'm on TV in between my friends might be in the TV show and I'm in the commercial. I'm like,
Right.
oh, we winning, y'all. We winning out
Exactly.
here. And
Exactly. And
like,
I feel like you have to take every
yes,
option as a win. No matter, because to me, no part is too small. You know what I mean? You want to be able to just celebrate even the smallest of things, so that way when you get to the bigger things, you're appreciating them that much more.
yes, everything. Because a lot of people will be like, I mean, listen, as all actors, I'm pretty sure we've all done it. I've did background work. And I would be so happy in that background. Like I was background on Ballers. Every time I watch Ballers, I'll be like,
That's Oh, wait a minute.
yeah,
If you look behind, if you look behind, that's the same right.
and it's like, I got paid $81 that day.
Yeah,
But it's like I'm so happy that I was there in that moment because I learned so much on that set from The Rock when he came in and said hello to everybody and how nice he was and he was on it. They did about 2-3 takes and they was on to the next.
yeah,
Right? So it's like I am very grateful for all the moments because it's like you never know when your next one's gonna come
that is
or what
true.
the next one's. So
That
I'm
is
happy
true.
for it. So,
Yes, and you kind of touched on something else that I want to talk about, and I kind of talk about throughout the podcast, because you kind of said about, you go to therapy, right? Which I
mhm.
feel like, as an artist, as an actress, an entertainer of any sort, just people in general anyways, that we all need to take mental health very seriously. It's very important. Now, me myself, I don't have a therapist, but I do take time out for myself to do things that keep me sane.
Yeah.
Because I feel like how you just were saying before, you don't know when that next casting is going to come. You don't know when that next booking will land. You know what I mean? So you don't want to get into that position of, just stagnant. You're sad, you're depressed, you don't feel like how can I go on? What do I do? What am I doing wrong? What am I, you know what I mean? You don't want to fall into that. So does therapy kind of help you with that? Is that kind of why you started therapy? Or, I mean, I don't want to go too deep because I know it's still kind of, personal. But do you kind of touch
No,
on those things when you're in therapy?
yeah, so my therapy sessions mostly focus on just me and my personal life
Oh, gotcha.
and just my thoughts and my feelings about myself. Like those are the things I'm kind of working on. I'm
Gotcha.
working on Emma Jackson as a whole.
Okay. Okay.
I have not needed at this current moment therapy to work out my, acting, Emma J, who I am on the stage, stage presence. I have one of my acting coaches that I have gone to for a while, Sheldon Fred. he tells us, he's like, y'all need to get into therapy. He's like, y'all need to make sure y'all in therapy. Because when he went to school, he went to school in London for acting, and they had therapists there. And then I have a current friend who's over in London in school for acting, and he's like, "No, we got therapy." Like he was like, they make sure they put us in therapy because we going through a lot. So it is a lot for actors, especially if you get a great role and you're going into something that is not you. How do you get out of it? So it is very important. But my current therapy is just me, just focusing on Emma, figuring out, what's going on with her. And then the tools that I have, they definitely flow over if I have any issues in therapy, or if I have a character and I need to break her down a little bit more, I can use those tools. But yeah, I would definitely say right now, this is just for me to make sure I'm a better person so I can bring that to the character.
Gotcha. Well, and I feel like even so, even though it's focusing on you and more of your personal life, like you said, it does trickle down into your work life, and you're able to utilize those tools. But I think it's very important, if people aren't seeking therapy or in therapy, that they are doing something that brings them some type of tranquility, some type of peace. So then that way they stay centered. Because like we were saying, it's no telling when that next meal is gonna
Girl,
come.
yeah.
When they said starving artists, they weren't joking, girl, because sometimes
Okay.
some time in between. So, that's why I encourage people to try to find things that keep them, like I said, centered, keep them going, keep them motivated, even if it's just talking to a friend, maybe someone who is within the industry that can kind of understand what you're going through at that time. Anything like that. I spoke with a past guest, and she said that she recommends that all of her, because she also does acting coaching, so she does coaching as well. And so she says that she tells all of her clients to get a hobby, some type of hobby,
Yeah.
something to keep them busy. Mine is travel, and of course pampering. I love pampering, so that's mine, like just to keep me.
A little massage, little nail
Yes, I
salon.
got you, girl, because just to say, no, 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 yeah, keep that zen
Yeah.
moment. Yes, you have to stay centered, because you want to be prepared mentally, physically, all of that, for when it's time for that next task, that next role, that next, you never know when that opportunity is just gonna come. So you want to be prepared and ready in all aspects. So I definitely recommend that as well.
Ready to turn your passion into a career? At 24/7 LC Film Academy, we offer acting, screenwriting, and filmmaking classes with multiple options, including Zoom and in-person classes in Los Angeles. Apply now and join our community.
Now, I know that you kind of mentioned earlier, about, you telling your dad about you wanting to go off and, venture into, acting and doing all these different things. We just celebrated Mother's Day. Did you get a chance to, kumbaya with family, or what did you do to kind of enjoy the holiday?
Yes, yes. So being back in my home city, both of my parents they do live here. They're not together, but they do live literally 25 minutes away. So I go see one Sunday morning, I go see the other one Sunday afternoon.
Right, right.
But I was with my mom all weekend. And I saw my dad. His birthday is a couple days before Mother's Day. And funny, sometimes it falls on Mother's Day. So that's always funny. It's like, okay, who we celebrating
Well,
today?
I know. Wait,
But
wait.
it was like, which one
Of
we
course,
doing? Which one
mom
we doing?
wins. I'm sure mom wins.
Yes, mom always wins. So I saw both of them this past weekend, and just kind of hung out with them. One of my sisters who lives in Houston, she ended up like getting a bottle from Total Wine. So I went to pick it up for my mom, and I like gave it to her when she was in the bed. I was like, I know we can't drink it now, but here you go. Happy Mother's Day. So yeah, we hung out. I hung out with them and got my mom a card and some flowers. So it was a good time. And then she hung out with one of her good homegirls. So, they had fun.
They had
But
their
yeah, it's
thing. Yes.
definitely
Well, that's nice. Now, speaking of mom, how is she about her Emma J? Like, how does she feel about you being an actress, a model? I'm sure she was very supportive, because I mean, you've traveled abroad, you've done this thing for a while now. But how does, when she see her baby in the television screen, how is that reaction?
Yes, so my mom has always been super supportive. Even when she was younger, she was someone who like traveled and was going all over the place, and she was everywhere. So everybody calls me like little her. They be like, "You're just your mom, but like
Aw.
maybe like 10 times more, a little bit more." I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like my mom, but she was fine with it. She's like, "Here you go, have fun." Her and my sister drove me out to LA when I moved out there. And then I ended up flew back. So ain't nobody had to drive me back. We shipped the
Right.
car back. Like, so she's super supportive in that way. She's like, here you go. If you coming home, you ain't got to pay full rent, just pay a little bit of rent. I was like, okay, that's perfect for me. So super supportive. I'm always here for any and everything I do. If I need, a ride somewhere, or if I need, her to help me with anything, or audition or clothes, she's always here. My dad, on the other hand, is the one who's like, you okay? You fine? He was like, you need to get a job. Do you need to go back to school? I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I'm
But
doing
it's
good. I got these
understandable.
productions.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, Daddy, I'm good. Like, I'm going to continue to hustle. I'm going to continue to make it through. I know I'm going to be fine. So he's the one who always be worried. But my mom, she's like, girl, go out there and do it and have fun.
Get out there. I know that's right. Mama say get out in, now I don't want to say them streets, but get out in them Hollywood streets and do what you need
Yes.
to do.
Okay. Hollywood, New York, Atlanta, all of them. Okay. Shoot.
You might need to show Daddy them residuals. Then maybe he'll be like, okay.
Listen, I'll be like, I have not asked you for money in years. Okay, I am okay.
But it's natural. Daddy's little girl, I'm sure, he's concerned about his daughter, want to make sure you're doing what needs to be done. But listen, you're serving, so he'll see it. And hopefully pretty soon, he'll be able to say, listen, you write me a check.
Amen. And then I'll be like, what house do you want? Okay, thank you very much.
That
So I'll be like,
part.
you want a new car? There we go. You want a new car? Here you go. You got it. There you go. I can't wait, because it's gonna happen, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Listen, so we've talked a little bit about ABFF, which is American Black Film Festival. I think they're coming up on, is it their 20, is it the 20?
This is 28th or 29th.
20. Okay, yeah, because I know it's up there. I don't want to get the number wrong. Now, you've been a part of the organization since about 2015.
Yes.
Girl, talk about that, because that's a big feat. You know what I mean? Like, I know that you have learned so much from Mr. Friday, Mrs. Friday, she's so gorgeous to me. Oh my God.
Oh my
Her,
yes.
yes, and her and Mara. Oh my God. When I look at them, I'm like, wait a minute. He got the same.
You would think they're sisters. You would literally think they're sisters. It's like, are y'all the same person? Oh my gosh.
They're so gorgeous.
Yes. But yes, I volunteered. I was standing in line senior year in the Walmart line trying to get some type of check for my rent that month. And I'm going through a magazine, because the Walmart check line is always long. And I see Taraji P. Henson is the ambassador for that year. So I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like amazing. I never heard of ABFF. It was a, email at the bottom for like sponsors or something like that. So I emailed them my resume. I was like, hi, I'm Emma. I would love to volunteer. At that time, they were in partnership with Black Enterprise. So I actually got in. They had a recent graduate internship that was literally like for only a couple weeks, but ended up being the whole entire month. They were like, oh, we'll keep y'all. So that's how I ended up working with ABFF. I worked as like a Black Enterprise intern that summer with ABFF under their operations manager. And then the following year, I emailed them and was like, hey, I was staying in Florida at the time. I was like, hey, like I'm here physically. Like, do you need an assistant again? I emailed the person I worked with directly the first time. She was like, yes, my assistant actually is no longer with me. If you want to be my assistant, you can. I said, heck yeah. So ever since 2015, so from 2015 to 2018 or 2019, I was her assistant to the operations manager. So I came in directly under her, and she did everything from making sure that the banners was up, making sure the food was at the reception. she's up at 7 a.m. for the early morning group meetings. And then we're also up at 2 a.m. leaving the club because she also got to close down the club. So her role was 24/7. So it was very tiring. But I was like, I'm coming back every summer. So I came back, came back every summer, continued to be a part of their team they have a certain amount of freelancers that come and help for the summer festival. And then I ended up she ended up leaving. She was there for like 20 something years, ended up, retiring or leaving from there. I ended up staying for the summer. And I was like the volunteer manager, and now I'm the events manager. So kind of going full circle from what she used to do, but I'm only doing just events. She was doing everything.
She was doing everything.
So I was like, that's a full-time position, y'all. That's a full-time person.
Right.
But yeah, still with them during the summer. And it's so crazy. Like, it's a joke. Like, ha ha. People are gonna get a little bit too famous and can't work for us no more.
Aww.
So me and my I have another friend who's an actress as well. So it's always like one of us are like gonna get too popping for us and we can't work no more. It's gonna be like, okay, we'll be the ambassador. We'll be the ambassador of ABFF. It's like we'll be ambassadors, but it's exciting to have been there this long because not as many people come back, not many people are able to tough it out because it's very long hours during the week that we're there. So I'm just very blessed to just say that I can be a part, or that I am a part of that ABFF family that comes in during the summer. So
yes,
yeah,
and I
girl.
love that. Yes.
I'll be there this June. Woo, woo, turn it
yes. So can you tell us a little bit, I guess, like what have you learned since your time at ABFF? I mean, I know you trained under someone, or you were an assistant to someone who had been with the organization for quite a while, which I mean 24 years, that's a great career in anything, right? So to be there 24 years, I'm sure you picked up a few gems.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So one of the things that's coming to mind right now is like budgets. So the person I was under, she worked on the budget for the whole thing. So you're literally seeing how much stuff costs.
Yes, yes.
And I saw the end portion of how much stuff costs. I saw how much stuff costs, and Emma, we got to figure out how to, finesse it real quick. So that's what I saw. That's the end. I don't know what was coming in now, y'all. Don't get me on that one. But I saw like, okay, this is the hotel information. This is how much this venue costs. Like, this is what's, included in the venue.
Right.
Make sure they're not, if it's supposed to be 12 bottles of wine there, make sure it's 12 and not 11, Emma. So like stuff like that. So I learned to make sure to read all type of contracts, all type of BEOs, beverage event or BEOs, like beverage event organization or something like that.
Okay.
But making sure I read all of the contracts. I learned, make sure that if you're going to have something verbal, make sure it's in email, and then we make a new contract. Definitely like try to stay under budget.
Right.
Making sure the dates are correct on everything. You don't want a celebrity coming in on Friday when they supposed to come in on Saturday,
right.
or
vice versa. Yeah.
Or vice versa. It's like, oh shoot, I thought it was the 13th, but it's really the 14th. Now I gotta flip it. Like, you don't want to have any last minute, issues. Just making sure that everything, all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed in every single thing. So when it comes to production, I am that person of like, okay, 8 a.m., what are we supposed to be doing from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.? And I'm like able to run the whole thing down. I'm still working on that, but like my goal is to continue to know every single inch of what is happening that day. So I learned that from her of like, you need to know every single thing that is happening. If it's 12 venues, you need to know all 12 people's names, who's organizing those venues, everything that's supposed to be there, what posters are supposed to go where. I'm like, how do you freaking keep this in your head? But I am continuing to work on that. But I also write stuff down. I also know I'm not gonna remember everything.
Everything, right.
So
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're getting, like you said, keeping your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and making sure we checking off those lists to keep things organized. I love that. Yes. And like you said, being a part of the organization for that long, because basically, I mean, you've been there a decade, so that's very good. Yes.
Now I'm like, I'm an old head now.
Like, oh, shoot. Yes. And I know you kind of told me a little bit that now you're kind of venturing into the private sector of that. Are you able to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so private events for the festival are basically like if you have they have a women's brunch usually every year, but not everyone is invited to that. It's a brunch led by Nicole Friday, and it's usually whoever sponsored it plus other like key people. So if there's, you know, the ambassador of course is going to be there if it's a woman. So the ambassador will come, maybe other executives who are there. So if it's like a, you know, Cadillac executive or like a, you know, other, I don't want HBO executive, like these women will be there, or other CEOs or other, you know, executive producers or other amazing writers. They'll all come together, and that one is like maybe 30 or 40 people max. So with that, it's just going to the venue, making sure it's set up. We do have a on-site Miami event team. So they're there already making sure the technology works. If it's music, if it's a mic, you know, if we got flowers somewhere, they're making sure that everything is there. So I come in to make sure everything is set up. If there's any fires, I will, you know, hey, let's try to put this out. Make sure the guest
You the
list is
little
right.
Olivia Pope of the festival.
You know, Olivia Pope of the festival when it comes to the private events. Okay, I'm just making sure that nothing is happening, no fires are happening. So like you have that, and that's a private event, but then you also have like the white party, which everybody can come to, but you have to make sure, you know, you got your ticket or your pass. So I just make sure that, okay, if there's like a VIP list, then I'll have it. And then people, you know, will come to my side, chicken name off, going in. But yeah, it's like a mix of both of those, like the big main events that everybody can come to, but I have to make sure that any notable people can get to where they are and things of that nature. Or if it's the smaller events where we know it's a minimum guest list, only a certain amount of people are supposed to be here, and make sure that happens. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty, I'm asleep now, but it's fun.
Yes, yes. But listen, I feel like it's good for you as well because you're learning more on the back end to help you on the front end. So that's probably just why you're
Yes.
doing just as well on the front end, because you know the ins and out. You know to appreciate the people on the back end that keep the whole scene going and running because you're experiencing it. Or do
Yeah,
you
girl.
not think that?
No, I think so because every time I see a waiter or event manager, or I see somebody running around who I know they doing something, I'm like, thank you so much.
Yes.
Hey, you're doing a great job. Like, yes, I'm not gonna take none of that for granted because that's me running around depending on the event. You
Yes.
know, I'm never, you know, mad at a waiter for something. Now, if you got bad service now, then I'm gonna tell
That's a
you got
different
bad
story.
service. You know, like, but I understand, you know, I understand what you're going through. You are pouring wine for people who probably drunk, not even knowing what they're doing, and you poured the wine already and they, you know, spilled it over. And you working with a lot. So I am very conscious. Thank you so much. Appreciate
We
you, you
appreciate
know, for
you.
everything.
Yes, yes.
Yes. You got
Got
to. So
to,
yeah.
yes. Well, I love that. And I just love that you're getting, you know, the best of both worlds, you know, the knowledge, the ins and out, you're putting in the work ethic, it's showing on the other side. Now, this is called Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. Now, what are one of your best kept secrets as far as, you know, just maybe something you can share as far as the industry? Whether it's just something
Oh,
that you can share. Yeah, just any little thing.
best kept secret. Ah. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna try to do two. The first thing that comes to mind in terms of modeling is now it's not necessarily a secret, but just a reminder. If you're trying to get into modeling, don't pay anyone.
Mm,
Like, don't pay upfront. Like a lot of companies will be like, oh, it's gonna be like $400, $600 fee for this. No, your agency will make money off of you
mhm.
when they book you. You do have sometimes some people might want, you know, a photo shoot like, hey, you need to update your portfolio to look like our book. That's a different story. If you have it, do it. You don't have to work with their photographers all the time because them be up in there. They be in the mix too.
Like Cardi B
But
says, up in his stuff.
Yes. So it's just kind of like, whoa. But just this, always think about it, because your agency is going to want to make money off of you. You're not going to be needing to pay them hundreds and hundreds, almost thousands of dollars just to say I'm signed with this agency. That's not how it is.
Right.
And I would say another thing would be, use your like, to ask people, use your network. Like, I feel like the Issa Rae saying, like, network across, network with your people.
Right.
That's real. Like how we're on here today talking, you hit me up. Hey girl, what you doing? Let's do this. Would you be interested? And that's because we've stayed connected on social media throughout the years, liking each other's pictures, commenting. So like, hit people up, and because you never know, they might want to be a producer, or they might want to be a director, or they might want to, be a writer or something. And you might need that, and y'all might can come together to create something that's amazing. So hit people up. I wouldn't say use people, but use people.
Right.
Use people around you. Don't use people, but use people. Use the people around you, because you never know. And you don't always have to have like, oh, I gotta call Tyler to make this. No, you can call somebody else. Like,
listen, if it was only that easy. Hey, TP.
No, listen. Baby, because I'm trying to call Tyler too.
Right.
Oh, like, I ain't hating on him. Okay, I am not hating on Tyler. Call me. Okay, I am here. Okay, I am working as a local. Okay. But like, really use the people around you. I don't think those are secrets, but I think those are like reminders.
Right.
Like, for sure.
Which are two reminders that I would definitely agree with, because I've heard some of the most, famous or the most successful artists say all the time, make sure you use your inner network, because the people that you see around you are the people that you most likely end up working with. Doesn't mean you're going to end up with a Tyler Perry. I might be the director on the set that day or whatever, and it's like, hey, I know you. We're able to keep in contact and build a rapport and build amongst each other. Like you said, you might have a skill set that I don't necessarily have, and we might have someone else who has a different skill set, and we're able to bring everybody together and build some some great projects or some great work. So I agree with all of that. Keeping in contact with people, networking.
Yes, I do have another one that just came to mind.
Okay.
Canva. This is not a plug. I don't get no back end from Canva, but Canva, Canva. If you for using anything for like graphics and stuff. They have so many templates. When people are like, I don't know how to make a resume, or I don't know how to make a flyer or a pitch deck, you do not have to know how to make it. You can literally go to Canva, it's free, and type in pitch deck and plug in your pictures. You can change out the colors. Like, it's so many sites that are free that creators can use, and they say, oh, I need someone to, if you don't have a money to pay a creative director or a graphic designer, it's okay. You will get the money. But if you need to get this pitch out there, you can do it yourself on Canva.
Right.
Like, you can make it happen. So definitely, I just thought about that, because it is free and you can use it. And if you want to upgrade. If not, it's okay.
Right.
But yeah.
And that's true too, because sometimes you have to work with what you have or have access to before you're able to build to that next thing. It's nothing wrong with that. Yes, listen, headshots. I remember my first set of headshots way back. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I did them with a friend, and they came out great. Oh my God, I had everybody, oh, I love your look, blah, blah, blah. I was getting, things left and right. It wasn't a lot of, I don't want to say big things, but it wasn't a lot of like big productions. But I was doing a lot of work off of those headshots. Then it was time to get, the next one, because sometimes you might gain weight, lose weight. You might want to change your hair. You might want to change up your style.
Okay.
When I first did my headshots, baby, I was Oprah little sister, like just very natural. You know what I mean? Like just the natural hair layered, the very natural look. And then my next set of headshots, I kind of changed it up a bit because I wanted to get more into like characters. So I did more like character shots, stuff like that. Now my shots are more like, I want to say more businessy. Yeah, but I want to change them up again. And what I recommend, or at least what I've been told, is that most people suggest that you change your headshots maybe every 2 to 3 years, depending upon
Mhm.
your look. Do you agree with that as well, or is that something that you do? How often do you change up your headshots?
Yeah, I hear a mix of things, child. So at this point, it's really what works for you. I
Gotcha.
hear change it up every 2, 3 years because then casting directors will see your face and then they'll get used to your photo or something and they'll overlook it. I've heard that. I've heard, but then I've also heard if you look the same, why are you paying $500 to take pictures to look the same?
Right, right. That's true.
So, unless you change your hair drastically, like unless I go and cut all my hair off, I'm probably not taking no more new pictures, at least for the rest of the year. I might give y'all some in 2025, but I ain't paying for no more pictures. So
Listen,
no,
like
no.
we said, they get it. It does. It can get pricey, but then
Yes,
hopefully it's an investment because you want to.
yes.
If you're spending more, I'm gonna say this: if you're spending more on your headshots than you're making throughout the year, then don't upgrade. Don't change those headshots.
No, and get a solid. Don't go like, of course, go if you're in it and you went to your friend the first time. But if you're 3 years in, you should have at least saved some money for some good, decent headshots. Now, don't be like, oh, I can't. No, you started this 3 years ago. At least you could put away $10 per check from somewhere
Something,
to
yes,
get it because
yes,
you want if you get some really good headshots, then they can last.
right,
So as long as you don't change your look, if you get a really solid, a really great photographer who brings out, your looks and your colors and it pops and y'all talk about the colors that you want to wear and how they're going to do the background, like you'll be fine. But if you're just kind of like, oh no, I'm gonna just cheap it out forever, then you might be changing your
not
headshots
keep it out
forever.
there.
But it's okay to do it the first time. But if you 3, 4, if you're taking your career
I know what
seriously
you mean,
after these
yes,
years, it's like, okay, now some gotta give. Some gotta
yes,
give. But when
yes.
you starting out, it's a totally different story. No, you're starting out. It's fresh. You're
Right.
you're you're trying to figure it out. So
Yes,
yeah, that's no problem.
exactly. Well, listen,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What is next for Emma J?
Oh girl, what's next, child? Who knows?
Shit,
I
we
don't know
got
what
take
Jesus
your
gonna
shift on that
bring.
one.
I don't know what the Lord gonna bring, honey. I do know that I want to continue to book every single month. I don't know. I don't care what I care what it is. If it's a hair shoot, hand shoot, I don't know. I did a low shoot. All I had to do was look at the window. Amen. I'm getting a check.
Okay,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah,
Stuff like that. Or
hallelujah.
I'm on TV and I done got me a movie role. Amen. One of those. But I definitely want to continue. My goal is continue to book every single month. I definitely want that. But I'm not sure. I'm working in event production. I have some of the events already lined up with some of the smaller companies I work for. So I'm like making sure like nothing coincides with that of me booking anything. So I'm like balancing that part of my life out.
Right,
But honestly, I'm taking it like week by week at this point. I am making sure that I'm like focusing on my craft. I do want to get back into acting classes. I am like listening to different books and podcasts. I like autobiographies, so I like to listen to other people's lives. Like, what did you do that I shouldn't do?
mhm,
So I'm like listening to that. I might be doom scrolling on Instagram, but at least I might be on an actor's page. So I'm learning something from
yeah,
from them on Instagram. But
inspiration
like
rising. Mhm.
I'm definitely still learning the craft, but also just kind of just seeing where it is. I'm gonna go kill my auditions, take as much time as I have when I get them, just make sure I do the best that I can. But I don't have any current goals outside of booking every single month. We gonna go with the flow that we're on as of right now.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, and it seems to be working. So, like they say, if it's not broke, don't fix
No,
it.
bitch.
Don't fix it. And it seems like
Yes,
everything is
yes.
working out. And I know it's going to get better for us both, for us all, that we all in this good fight together. So, again, I definitely appreciate you taking your time out your day to stop by and talk to me. And I know we're going to continue to follow each other's paths and journeys. So I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. Before we go, Emma J, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, of course. But I want to say thank you for having me. I don't see this as no small thing. I'm just grateful that somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, we want to hear Emma J. You want to hear me?" I'd be like, "Me? What am I doing?" Because we don't see the greatness that we're creating and impacting in other people. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to
Of course.
be on here, share my story. I hope I'm able to impact someone else. But you can follow me on Instagram at From Emma J. That is where I am mostly active at. I also have a website, fromemmaj.com, that you can find, any and all information. If you have questions, comments, I respond to people in the DMs. So if you want any advice about anything, go down in the DMs, okay? You might need to comment on the page just so it don't go to the request side, because I'd be missing those. But, hit me up if you have any questions about modeling, acting, production. I'm at From Emma J on Instagram. I am there. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, guys, we're going to see you next time on Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the show this evening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.